Hey everyone, welcome to today's podcast. We're talking about dealing with weight loss fluctuations. When you want to lose weight, it's really, really important that you understand that your weight is always going to fluctuate a little bit because I have seen this do more people in than almost anything. You start losing weight and you're watching the scale go down and it goes down, and then one day it goes up a little bit, and now it feels like the whole world's ending. So you have to understand that weight fluctuations are completely and totally normal and natural and unavoidable. And I think the best way to deal with this is to start thinking of your weight within a range. I use a 5 pound range. Okay. And so what this means is, let's just say someone is 200 pounds and they want to start losing weight. What I'm looking at is I know that my weight's going to fluctuate day to day. Okay. By again, now this is me, but my weight might fluctuate 1, 2 pounds a day on average. Right. And we want to build that into our weight loss structures here, because again, if we just all of a sudden lose some weight or put some weight on and we weren't expecting it, it feels devastating. And so if you're 200 pounds and you lose 2 pounds, and then the next day you get on and you put those 2 pounds on again, oh, don't worry about it. Okay. Again, it's just a normal, natural thing. There's so many things that can impact your weight fluctuations. You might have drank a little extra water. You might have eaten some extra salt. There's just a million things that can impact weight fluctuations day to day, right? When we measure ourselves day to day, there's just a lot of little things that can happen. And by the way, right, just when we weigh ourselves, if you're going to weigh yourselves, I really suggest every day, because if you weigh yourself week to week, the fluctuations that can happen in a week are tremendous as well. And so, if you're only measuring yourself every 7 days, the first day you might catch yourself on a low point, and the next week you might catch yourself on a high point. And if you don't know that, again, it feels devastating. So start to understand and think in terms of a range, right? And so if I'm 200 pounds and I lose 2 pounds one day, I'm feeling good about it, but I'm recognizing that I don't really consider that permanent weight loss until I get to around 195. And now I feel like I'm down a considerable amount, like legitimately down. But again, you could go one day without drinking much water and be a pound or two down. You know what I mean? So again, a pound, 2, 3 pounds of weight fluctuation is how a lot of people are experiencing weight each and every day. Okay. So start thinking in a 5 pound range where you're really aiming for that 5 pound weight loss. Because once you get to 195, now I'm expecting my weight to fluctuate somewhere in the ballpark of 198, 192. Okay. And so that sets me up with a range in my mind. So if the weight goes up a little bit or down a little bit, I have, I think, a much more accurate understanding of it, because weight is not this static thing. You know that, right? But we get emotional with the weight loss. So it's important, I think, that you build into your weight loss a kind of margin of error to some degree, again, of 2, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark, so that when you lose a couple pounds, you're excited and happy about it, but you're also prepared and aware that the next day you step on there could go back up a pound, 2 pounds, and start thinking within a range. And I think that's going to help you, because it's normal, natural, and unavoidable. And so we need to have a strategy ahead of time to deal with some of the fluctuations that go on with weight. All right. So keep this in mind. And again, we're kind of like, we're waiting to lose a little bit more than maybe you did before. So if I lose 2 pounds, I'm kind of calm and cool about it, because I know that 2 pounds is within that range of fluctuation in a day. And I'm waiting to maintain that 2 pounds for a week or two before I really consider it 2 pound weight loss. Okay. And so start thinking this way. I think it's going to help your motivation a lot. And again, it's a much more accurate way to think about your weight. So I hope this, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I will do my best to answer them. Let's see. There it is. I have to see the little chat window. Whoops. There we go. Right. Let's see. Hey, Mary, how you doing? How's it going? I saw a question somewhere. Oh, there it is. User says, how do I stop overeating? Ugh, it's horrible. All right. Overeating, right? How do we stop overeating? This is a big question. And I'm going to give you kind of a strategic solution to this. I think the first step to stop overeating is to understand why you're overeating. It's not just as simple as, oh, I'm an overeater. Oh, I was hungry. I can't stop myself. No, there are different reasons why we overeat. Some of the most common ones that you want to look out for. And again, you probably have different versions of these. And so if you have different causes of the overeating, we need to recognize those so we can come up with the correct solution for each of the causes. Okay. So what are the common causes of overeating? I would say the number one cause of overeating for most people is that they're eating a lot of processed foods. If you have a diet high in processed foods, you are almost guaranteed to be hungry all the time because you're eating food stuff that is literally designed to make you hungry. Understand, processed food is a business. It's not there to nourish you and support your health. It's there to get you to eat as much of it as they can because that makes them more money. And so if you're eating a lot of processed food, you're not getting the micronutrients you need. You're not getting the fiber you need. You're not getting what you need to feel satisfied. Okay. And so you're going to be hungry all the time and you're going to overeat because, of course, it also encourages overeating. So be careful of what you're eating and start to eat more natural foods. All right. So that's the first one, is what you're eating. The next big one I see reason for overeating is over restricting. So if you're trying to lose weight like the average person, you're way over restricting your calories. You're getting yourself to be extremely hungry. And now you're also depleted willpower wise, because understand, willpower is not some non-physical thing. It's a prefrontal cortex process. You need to think about your willpower like it's a muscle. And just like a muscle can be depleted. So if you're using your willpower to not eat, now what happens is you get to a state where you're really hungry. And on top of that, your willpower is now way depleted and you don't have the ability to stop yourself from eating. And so very often people over restrict and then they follow it up by overeating because you're so hungry and you can't stop yourself. So watch out for that. And the third big one I see is emotional. Okay, where you're not eating for nourishment. You're not even eating necessarily for the flavor of it. You're eating to deal with your emotions, to either feel some emotion, the pleasure, excitement, stimulation of eating, and or dealing with negative emotions you don't want to feel. And you're using the food to distract yourself from some negative or unpleasant emotions that are upsetting to you and you don't know how to deal with genuinely. So those are the big three. There's a lot of other reasons too why we overeat, but those are the big three I'd start with because, again, whichever one is affecting you at different times, it's going to require a different solution. So that's my first step. And I know I didn't really get into the solutions piece of it, but the first step is to analyze and understand, why am I overeating? Okay. You need to get more granular understanding of why you're doing it. Most people I see have no idea why they're overeating. They just have this vague idea as, well, I'm an overeater. I can't control my eating. I love food. That's not it. There's way deeper, more specific reasons that are leading to the overeating, and you need to understand those first before you can craft a, specific strategy that's going to help you reduce that or eliminate the overeating. So I hope that helps you out as an initial step. Little Mean Queen. Hey, how you doing? Hi, Jim. Had that for 3 weeks, the same weight. I was going crazy, but you have to trust the process. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, yeah, weight loss plateaus are like that. And if I'm not mistaken, are you close to your goal weight? I get confused sometimes with people, but are you close to your goal weight? Right. And if you are, if that was you, the closer you get to your goal weight, typically the slower the weight loss gets, right? It just slows down. The closer you get. And again, you just have to know that, and it just takes a little bit longer, but so what? When you're in weight loss plateaus, what you really want to do is you want to practice your maintenance, right? Because the ultimate goal here is to be in a forever plateau. You know what I mean? Like to be at the same weight forever. And so when you hit these plateaus where the weight loss isn't happening, what I always suggest is that you start optimizing your plan. Whatever you've done to lose weight, you start optimizing it. Optimizing it does not mean you cut more calories necessarily. What it means is you start making it easier, more enjoyable. Whatever you're doing, you make it easier and more enjoyable. You maintain the same calories for another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then see what happens. Sometimes your body just needs to readjust and then you start losing weight without changing anything. And then sometimes you need to cut more calories. But regardless, if you focus on optimizing, make it easier, more enjoyable, what happens is after 3 weeks, okay, I got to start cutting some more down. Now what happens is you can look strategically at what you typically, how you're eating, how you're living, and you can make a strategic decision. How do I want to change this? Where else can I cut a couple more calories out? Okay. But start orienting yourself that the real goal here is to be at a plateau. So that's not the end of the world. Now I know again, people just want fast weight loss results, but as you get close to that goal weight, again, sometimes it slows down a little bit. What do you think about one meal a day? I think about one meal a day, what I feel about pretty much every weight loss tactic that's out there. And that is, if it works for you, great. If you hate it, not great. Do something else. Okay. And so I know that that's not a very satisfying answer, but one meal a day, I'm not going to sit here and say it's extreme. I know people that do it and it really works for them. I think for most people, it's kind of extreme and it's unpleasant and they don't like it. And then I think in that case, you do not need to eat just one meal a day to lose weight. Okay. Understand there's no perfect way to lose weight. The only perfect way to lose weight is the way that works for you. And each and every person is a unique individual. So you need to create the plan that works for you. Okay. You can't just force yourself to follow something. So again, one meal a day is just a strategy, a somewhat extreme strategy. But it's just a strategy to reduce your daily average calorie consumption. And there's a million ways to do that. And so instead of thinking there's only one way to do it, realize there's a million ways to do it. Let me figure out the way that works best for me. And I think if you approach your weight loss this way, you're going to end up with much, much better results because you're going to end up with a system that's specifically built for you. And that makes all the difference in the world. And it's probably something you've never done before. So that's what I think about that. User says, I eat almost no processed foods, but always end up overeating healthy food. Yeah. So if that's the case, again, it's a process of elimination. I would suggest, I would guess maybe you're over restricting first. You're getting yourself so hungry and then you're overeating, and or there's some emotional thing. Again, there's other things too. So without knowing the specifics of what you're dealing with, I'm just giving you the big ones, but it's a process of elimination. But once you figure out what the reason is, then you can go about figuring out, the ideal strategy to deal with that. User says, even my portions, I can always feel it being too much for my body. Okay. So, if that's the case too, sometimes we just habitually overeat, right? And so once you recognize that and you say, okay, even these portions, I can feel like too much for my body, start cutting the portions down and manage that anxiety. When we cut food down from what we normally eat, you're going to experience some anxiety because it's not the normal thing you do. And you get really irrational, or you start feeling like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's almost like you feel like you're going to starve to death. You're not logically, but the emotion of it is very irrational. So work on cutting the portions down a little bit then, and then managing that anxiety, keeping yourself calm and relaxed, telling yourself, this is plenty of food. If I'm still hungry, I need to eat, I can still eat more, but I'm going to play with this smaller amount and see how I feel. And again, kind of approach it as an experiment and see how that works. Little Mean Queen, stop, wait, don't panic. Patience is the key. Jim, you're absolutely right. Love the subject. Yeah. I could talk about it all day long. Because patience, I think, I just made a video on this. I think it's the emotion that's most important. I think having more patience during your weight loss process is probably the most important emotion to work on, because we are impatient by nature. And then we have been conditioned our entire lives by the diet industry to be extra impatient, and to be so short-term oriented. So I think specifically working on patience during this process is crucial, and you're going to keep coming back to that. You'll see, but again, I will tell you this too about patience with weight loss. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit how long it takes to lose the weight? Who gives a shit? Because the goal is to get to your goal weight and then stay there forever. So if it takes you a month, 6 months, 6 years, who cares? It's a one-way path journey to your goal weight and then staying there. So again, we want to really wrap our head around that. The weight loss piece of it is just a phase, and it's not even the main phase, folks. The main phase that you need to master is living at your goal weight, right? You need to upgrade your goal from wanting to lose weight to wanting to live at your goal weight. They're two totally different things, by the way. And the reason is, when you just focus on losing weight, you think of the goal weight as the finish line. And it's not, is it? Do you just want to get to you've lost weight before. Do you just want to lose the weight and then you don't give a shit if you put it back on? right? I know it sounds silly when I say it that way, but when you keep saying, I just want to lose weight, I just want to lose weight, I just want to lose weight, that's what you're saying to your subconscious mind. The only thing I care about is just losing the weight, right? And I know you think, oh, well, once I lose the weight, then I'll figure it out. No, you won't. 95, they say 82 to 95% of people put the weight back on. What have you done when you've lost the weight? You know what I mean? Like, it's not enough to say, I just want to lose the weight, because that's not even the actual goal you want to achieve. You know? So you need to be very specific about what you want to accomplish. And being patient is part of it, because what's your rush? What is the rush? Does eating fruit make us hungry? No, I would say eating fruit makes you feel more satisfied. The fiber in fruit is tremendous. And the energy you get from fruit is it's a slow release, as opposed to eating flour, refined foods, processed foods, which will cause you to feel really, really hungry. So I believe fruits in their whole form are the opposite of make you hungry. They're very satisfying. Oops, let me see. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions, any weight loss questions. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Little Mean Queen. Yes, I hit the goal weight. Yeah. So yeah, that's all about patience now for you. I mean, what's there to do, And now you're in the new phase. I'm glad you're in the program, because I always say this to people, right? Like if you're struggling with your weight, your biggest problem that you have to deal with ultimately is that you've got two mindsets. You've got an overweight mindset and you've got a dieting mindset. That's it. That's what you got. And what happens is, in your best case scenario, you diet your way down to your goal weight, but the same problem exists, that you know how to think like an overweight person and you know how to think like a dieter, but you never learn how to think like a thin and healthy person. And until you learn how to think like a thin and healthy person, how are you going to live at your goal weight forever, long term? It's like, it's staring you right in the face. Do you know what I mean? You've lost weight and then you put it back on. You say, I can't maintain it. I don't know how to live there. I know, because you're never making that the goal. You're so fixated on losing the weight, but the weight loss is not the goal. It's living at your goal weight that's the goal. Okay. So Little Mean Queen, that's for you, right? Is that now it's about shifting your mindset. You're starting the process, of learning to live at your goal weight. So yeah, patience is crucial for that, but we'll take it. You're in the program, so you're going to go through that and figure out exactly how to do that. That's what the program's for. Dawn says, it took me a month to lose a pound and I am so happy about it being gone. I enjoy all the food. Yeah. See, that's the mindset we're talking about, right? Is that once the pound, if you're really honest with yourself, you're like, at this point, you're probably apathetic. You think about weight loss 24 hours a day, but you can't get yourself to really do anything to lose the weight. Why? Well, there's a couple of reasons, but I believe one of the core reasons is that at this point, you don't even believe you can keep the weight off, right? So you're sitting here overweight and you're like, I want to lose weight, but now you're like, yeah, but even when I lose the weight, I end up putting it back on, and it's just like, you can't even imagine a future where you live at your goal weight long-term, And so you can hear what Dawn says, even what she's saying, who gives a shit if it takes a month to lose a pound? Because then it's gone forever. Because she's thinking from that place of living at her goal weight. That's where she's kind of planted her flag. That's where she's going to live. You see, you're not doing that. Usually what most people who want to lose weight are doing is they're firmly implanted in their overweight self. And the dieting is just one part of that. I'm an overweight person. I'm going to diet until I lose the weight. And then what though? And I'll tell you what, it's very triggering to people losing weight, because I've asked people, dieters that are actively losing weight, I said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do once you get your goal weight? They're going to get very mad. I don't know. I don't want to talk about that. When I get there, I'll figure it out. No, you won't. I mean, statistics say you won't. What's your experience tell you? You know what I mean? You got to start planning that and program yourself. Then we start with a maintenance plan on day one, because it's not about, like, you're thinking you're going to lose the weight and then what? You're just going to live that way forever? You're not, because most people have their average calorie consumption, and then the diet that they're following is some drastic calorie cuts so they can lose weight quickly. And then what? Oh, no, I'm bringing it back up to maintenance. Are you? How's that working out? And it hasn't worked out well. And so now you've got this belief that no matter what I do, I put the weight back on. I don't know how to live at my goal weight. Again, that's the main thing you got to deal with. And most diets don't deal with that. They're just trying to sell you quick weight loss. Tabby, yes, I sent you an email yesterday. I got that, and I'm going to answer that. And then since you're here, I'll answer it right now. let me look at that. I'll go get that question right now because I thought that was a good question. Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Got to run. It is dinner time. I'll listen to this live tomorrow at work. Big hug. Yeah. Yeah. Great job, by the way, getting your goal weight. I'm going to get to your question in a second, Tabby. I'm just going to go through some of these questions real quick. Priya says, ever since I heard your last live, I've had a shift. Every choice I've made to eat has been healthy. Super. Yeah. Again, folks, when I'm talking with you, I'm a hypnotist. So I am not just saying things to you. I'm trying to say things in a way that actually impacts you, right? That's my goal. Thank you. So just listening to me, I'm using conversational hypnosis and I'm using things to try and change and impact you, not just give you more information. Okay. So great job, Priya. Great job making better choices. I'm about to start I've never heard of that one. Carbamazepine. I'm terrified of weight gain as I've just lost 2 stone, 3 more to go. Great job on the success so far. Yeah, terrified, right? That's what I mean. Do you see what I mean though, folks? I try to say this to people because you've experienced it. You're probably not aware of it. I've had so many conversations with people that are approaching their goal weight and you think you'd be over the moon if you were 5 pounds away from your goal weight, right? You think, oh my God, I did it. That'd be amazing. That's not what I see. What I see when people are approaching their goal weight is exactly what she said, terror. They're terrified. Why? Again, it comes back to you got your overweight self and you got your diet self. And as you get closer to the goal weight, the anxiety starts to build because you're like, what the fuck? I can't keep dieting and I can't go back to being that overweight person. And there's this feeling, it's a vacuum. The vacuum is you do not know how to think like a thin and healthy person. Who's taught you that? No one, I am, right? But outside of me, I don't know who else is doing it. No one's got this framing. No one's fixated on living at your goal weight, having a thin and healthy mindset. Everyone's fixated on just losing the weight. I'm going to be the same person, but I'm just going to lose the weight and act different. And then what? Then I'll figure it out. And the figuring out never ends up happening, to the point that this person lost 2 stone and is terrified. Putting the weight back on and now is going to go on. I can't even pronounce that medicine. I don't know what that one is. But listen to my stuff. So I will tell you this, folks. So if you have not yet done this, go to my bio. If you're on TikTok, go to my bio, click the link and get the hypnosis session I give you. Okay. This will help you, Bear, because it'll calm you down. It'll relax you. And then watch the training I give you, 3 steps to master your weight. Okay, because I go through a completely different way to approach this that I think will be very helpful to you. So if you're committed enough to start taking a medicine, then I hope you're committed enough to go and sign up and get that hypnosis session and watch the training. Priya says, I hear what you're saying about how it's just a mindset. Yeah, it's a mind shift. Absolutely. Your mindset, folks, is the biggest thing impacting your weight. More important than your genetics, menopause, insulin resistant, all the rest of it. It's a medication that's well known to cause weight gain. I will listen to that. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, Bear. I thought it was like a semaglutide, like Ozempic or Wegovy or something that would help you lose the weight. Okay, I got you. It's a medication that causes weight gain. Yeah, I get that. I will tell you in that situation, anytime there's a physical challenge, whether it's menopause, insulin resistance, medication, whatever it may be that's physical and it's real, right? Those are just a real thing. What I always extra highlight for people, again, please go watch the training that I just told you about because I kind of break this down. But in that case, so let me back up a little bit more. When I talk about weight mastery, I reference the thing I call the weight mastery pyramid. And it's in order of importance, right? So we got a pyramid shape and the bottom foundational piece is your mindset. The next piece above it is your lifestyle and then's the eating at the top. And I do that to indicate the importance of each. And so for you, Bear, I think it's really important to start fixating and focusing on the lifestyle pieces. Now, when I say lifestyle, what I specifically mean is 8 habits in order of importance: proper sleep, proper hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. And I think as you start to weave these things into your life, a lot of times they will kind of counteract or mitigate the negative health effects of the physical challenges we're just referencing: medications, menopause, insulin resistance, whatever it may be. Okay. Because all these lifestyle habits I talked about impact you biochemically, physically in a very similar way. Okay. And that's what we want. So Seabear says, thank you. You're very calming. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do, because I think being calm is a superpower when it comes to weight mastery. I don't know. I don't even know. Can you really lose weight long term if you're freaking out? You know, I don't know. I don't know. Esma, I see any advices for overeating, even if it's healthy food. I just talked about this, so let me get back to that 1 second. I will talk about it and answer it. I want to answer a question that Tabby had sent to me yesterday, and I wanted to answer because she's here all the time, and I want to answer this. So could you recommend any documentaries, books, podcasts, or articles that could assist in cultivating a more holistic and sustainable mindset beyond the pursuit of a specific body image? Well, I would recommend my training, right? It's not quite a documentary. It's about a half hour or so. I would definitely recommend that training. Okay. That's the first thing I'd recommend. The next thing, what would I recommend? Books, podcasts, articles. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't any, but to be honest, I mean, this is not the norm. This isn't the view most people take. Most of the weight loss industry, what they're trying to cultivate in your mind is you're going to motivate yourself by losing weight and looking better, right? Because if you think about it, every single weight loss ad you've seen in your life, and you've probably seen millions of them, it's always the before and after picture. And that conditions you to think about your weight loss motivation in terms of how you're going to look different. And that usually is not enough motivation. So again, what I'm sharing with you is really, again, what Program Yourself Thin is, it's really the combination of so many different things. Like I'm a yoga instructor, and I've just read so many different things. So it's hard for me to pick just like one book, because Program Yourself Thin really is like the combination of so many different strategies. I'm trying to think like what is in this ballpark, books, podcasts, or articles. Just nothing's coming to mind. I don't know what to tell you. Like genuinely, I'm not saying there aren't people that have a holistic and sustainable mindset for weight loss. I don't know a lot of mindset weight loss people. I wish I did, because I would have started, I would have just learned from them, 30 years ago. And instead I've kind of had to like study everything to create my own, because it wasn't out there. Who are you going to learn mindset? How are you going to learn how to create a thin and healthy mindset from who? You tell me, folks. I don't even know. I'm out there looking all the time. I read 50 books a year. I'm looking at stuff all the time. I don't know who's the leader of weight loss mindset. I'm not going to say I am, but I'm one of the few that I know. You know what I mean? Like I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions. I've been doing this professionally for 20 years. And it's just, to be honest, it feels like creating my own system. I just wish there was a, Paul McKenna, like he's a hypnotist, it's kind of one note. You know what I mean? I see people kind of like the weight loss industry is all built around the one thing. They know everyone that's overweight, pretty much is overwhelmed, tired, exhausted, depleted. And so they try and make it simple as possible. I don't know. I don't think that's going to work. I think you need a holistic plan, that's really built around you. So I don't have an answer for that. I wish I did. What other aspects or pursuits should I consider that go beyond the sole focus on achieving a particular body shape? Now that I can talk about. That gets right to the motivation piece. And what I always say is that you should take your weight loss and wrap it in personal development. So I think you're going to have a much easier time mastering your weight if you reframe the process, not of one of just losing weight, but of one of becoming the best version of yourself possible. So if you think about the best Tabby you can imagine, right? The Tabby who's kind of flowing in life, right? Who's firing on all cylinders, who's really thriving. If you allow yourself to just kind of separate from your current reality and imagine who that version of you is, how it impacts your relationships, your work and your money, your health, your longevity, all the things that matter to you in your life. If you lose the weight, and again, not just visually, not because you look different, but if you imagine how you are different when you're nourishing your body, when you're well rested, when you're hydrated, when you're relaxed and calm, when you're moving more, when you feel good about yourself, right? When you feel you're really living life the way you want to, how is Tabby different? And so that's how I would start to reframe this, because just wanting to lose weight, just wanting to look better, I know you think it should be enough motivation, but it's not. If you haven't lost any weight, if you're overweight and you want to lose weight and you haven't lost any weight in the last 6 months to a year, what you're doing right now is not working. And I always say the biggest first hurdle you got to get over is motivation. You're not motivated. You're not motivated to lose weight. Let me reframe it. You don't want to lose weight. You wish you'd lose weight. You wish you'd wake up tomorrow morning and start losing weight, but you don't want to. You want to keep eating the food you're eating and living the way you're living. You do what you want to do. It's not complicated. You always do what you want to do. And so if you're wondering why you're not losing weight, it's because you don't want to. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's just, we need clarity here. We can confuse ourselves, right? It's not that confusing. If you're not losing weight, it's because you don't want to. You're not doing the things it takes to lose weight, because everyone can lose weight if you reduce the calorie consumption that you're averagely putting in your body. Hope that helps. Tabby follows it up. What about for stopping eating junk food like documentaries? Okay, yeah. To stop eating junk food for documentaries. What's coming to mind? And I haven't watched any documentaries in a little while. I went through a period where I watched a bunch of them, and now you kind of get to, okay, I got it. What's good? Forks Over Knives is good. Geez, I've seen so many. I just block my mind. I like the Super Size Me. I thought that was pretty interesting. Books, about junk food, Salt, Sugar, Fat was really good. The End of Overeating was really good. Those are books. Those are good ones. Hooked, that was kind of interesting. That was by an app developer talking about dopamine and how we get hooked on things, but that kind of related to that. Studying cigarettes, I found interesting because the cigarette industry and the food industry parallel each other, so I would start with those, and then just let's go to Netflix and just watch. There's a million of them. I've watched them all. This is what happens. I read so much and I watch so many documentaries. They all start to blur together, to be honest. And I just I watch them. I take what works and I discard the rest and I forget about them. So sorry. I'll look them up though, but I think that's a great thing to do, because when you read a book, when you watch a documentary, it's like programming. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to impact your behavior for a while. Sugar documentaries are great to watch. All of those things. Priya says, I really love Dr. Greger, who promotes a whole foods plant-based diet, and he's based it on studies. Yeah, I love Dr. Greger. He is a foundational piece of my why I eat the way I eat. His How Not to Die book really motivated me to start eating those salads during lunch. And if you ever want to know what my salad routine is, I put that video up on my bio page. It's pinned up there. But yeah, I love Dr. Greger. I think he's the Michael Jordan of nutritional research. I'm a huge fan. Yeah, I agree about the mindset shifting. You're one of the few. I really am. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know why it's this way, to be honest. I don't know. Because here, I'll define what I think. Like, I don't like to say 100%, but it seems like it's 100%. If I had to define the weight loss industry, like in a nutshell, it's always someone telling you what to do. To be honest, even Greger, right? I mean, he's giving you studies and he's kind of telling you how you should eat, right? And so every diet is a plan. Here you go. This is what you should eat to lose weight quickly. And it doesn't matter. Oh, don't eat carbs, eat 1,200 calories. It doesn't matter what it's saying. It's telling you what to do, or it's telling you how to work out. Or you go see a nutritionist or dietitian, they tailor it to you. But at the end of the day, it says, here you go. This is what you have to do. And then it's up to you to get yourself to do it. And that's where the problem starts. You don't know how to get yourself to do it. The problem isn't that you don't know what to do. The problem is you don't know how to get yourself to do it. And so you're never learning how to do that. If you just are getting more and more advice and suggestions about what you should do, it never gets to the core problem that you don't know how to get yourself to do it consistently. And how are you going to learn that? And that's why I find no one's talking about that. I find my program to be one of the few, again, even mindset. I find that's a buzzword now, but what do people mean by mindset? Thanks, Tabby. What do people mean by mindset when they say that? Well, what I see is they're just using that as another word for willpower, right? They're like, come on, you got to have the right mindset. Well, if I knew how to have more willpower, I would just do it already. So they don't tell you how to have a better mindset. They just kind of say, oh, come on, you have a better mindset, And so Program Yourself Thin, we break the mindset down into 6 categories, right? Because in the program, you fill out your weight mastery blueprints. So your mindset, lifestyle, eating blueprint. Okay. But the mindset piece, right? So again, you've never heard this before, I'm going to guess, because I made this up. Because I'm like, how do you create a mindset? Well, to create it, you got to break it down into pieces. So mindset and Program Yourself Thin is motivation. How do you motivate yourself? You don't know how to motivate yourself. That's why you're not losing weight. So you got to learn how to motivate yourself. That makes everything a lot easier, as you can imagine. Your self-image, right? Your weight is a physical projection of your mental self. you can stop eating as much food. The problem is you think of yourself, you identify as an overweight person. Remember I was saying you got an overweight mindset and a diet mindset, right? So you need to change your self-image. Weight mastery is an inside-out process. So you need to have motivation. You need to change your self-image. You need to understand the habits, the neuroscience of habits. Do you have any real strategy to deal with negative habits and implement healthy ones? No, you've got willpower. You're just trying to force yourself to do it, and it's not working. There's a strategic way to influence your habits. And as you can imagine, it makes everything else easier. Emotions. Do you know how to feel the emotions you want to deal with the emotions you don't want to feel? It doesn't involve food? Probably not. And that's one of your core triggers for eating too much food, is that you don't know how to handle your emotions. This culture where we're conditioned to use food as our main emotional management strategy. So if that's the case, how are you going to lose weight? You got to learn how to deal with the emotions. The next one is thinking, just straight up thinking. How do you think like a thin, healthy person? And I can read your mind. You're saying, I don't know. I don't know. Exactly. Right. So you've got to learn. And then the final piece is maintenance. Do you know how to maintain? Oh, I'll figure it out when I get there. When you get there, are you that cocky that you're just going to get to the goal? How about you learn how to maintain from day 1 to day 2, week 1 to week 2, month 1 to month 2? You've got no strategies for maintenance. You start your plan off like a bat out of hell and it lasts a couple of days and then you go right back to what you always do. Do you know what I mean? So again, but by the way, when's the last time you heard mindset broken down in those categories? Never. Again, I'm not saying I'm some genius, but it's like, I focus on it in this way and people don't for whatever reason, which is why I'm able to get, hey, Ann Ross is here. All right. How you doing, Ann? And now it just made me think I'm going to reach out to you. I want to interview you because you got a great story and you're super smart. And so you have a good way of communicating. So I'm going to reach back out to you because I want to do some testimonial calls with people next week. So I'll reach out to you and hopefully we can do that soon. Because I totally forgot. I got COVID and stuff. I was going to do all those. Then I got COVID. That took me out for a couple of weeks. But glad to see you here. And plus, all my clients that were in the program and the coaching thing, I was just thinking this last night for the week before the new year, I'm going to have some coaching calls open for you guys. I'm going to make some group coaching calls available. And I just redid the mindset section of the Weight Mastery Blueprints. Just uploaded those today. So that's new. I updated the workbook, shortened it, made it better. So it's not quite as long. And it now take you just about an hour, to fill all those out. So anyways, that's up and live too, as well, for anyone who's a client. You're welcome, Tabby. You're welcome. Esma says, any advice for overeating? Okay. Now let's get back to that. Okay. So advice for overeating is this, and this is what I was just saying. The first thing you got to do, if you're struggling with overeating, the first thing you got to do is understand it. Okay. What most people want to do as dieters is they say, oh, I'm an overeater and I got to stop it. Okay. And again, it's that willpower approach. I'm overeating, just got to stop it. But that's dealing with the symptom and not dealing with the problem, the core problem, you see? And so what I would suggest if you're overeating is the first thing I do is understand it. Why are you overeating? And there's different reasons you're overeating in different situations. And so the main ones I was just talking about, and again, there's more than this, but these are the big ones I usually look for. First is what you're eating. If you're eating a lot of processed food, you're probably overeating a lot because processed food is literally engineered to cause you to keep overeating it. I always joke. I mean, processed food, you always in your mind intuitively think of like created by chefs in a kitchen. Those foods are created by chemists in a lab, and they're just got more resources than you can fight against. It's like the casino. Do you know what I mean? It's like cigarettes. Do you really want to take that on? Do you really want to take that challenge on? They're better at that shit than you are better at not doing it. So if you're eating a lot of processed food, you're probably overeating. Okay. And so if that's the case, then we got a specific strategy we got to deal with for that. The next thing is that you're over restricting. You're cutting the food down too much and you're getting yourself too hungry and you're reducing your willpower so you can't control your eating. Then you're overeating. Okay. And the third one is something emotional. That you're an emotional eater. And now in that situation, you're not even eating because of the flavor or the enjoyment of it necessarily. You're doing it because it gives you emotion. It's stimulating. It's entertainment. It's something to look forward to. Or it's something you use to numb yourself or distract yourself from unpleasant emotions. Okay. So those are the big three. I mean, again, there's more than that, but those are the big three that I would start with, because once you understand why you're overeating, then you can craft a customized solution to deal with it. So I hope that helps you out. Asma says, I even overeat apples and fruits because I love them and they taste so good. And then I get bloated. Oops, let me see. My daughter just got a part in a play. I'm excited for her. So that's exciting. All right, I got to get out of here. I got a coaching call coming up, which is part of my program. Yeah, okay. I even overeat apples and fruits because I love them. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that people don't overeat because they love certain foods, because obviously they do. But I think you need to zoom out a little bit and see the bigger picture. You know, where are you at before you start eating the fruit? Like, let me put it this way. Let me reframe it a little different. When you're calm and relaxed and you're motivated and you're focused on your goals and how you want to feel and how you want to look and who you want to be as a person, and you're centered and you're feeling good, you're flowing through the day, you're thriving. It's just a good day. In that situation, are you overeating? You know, I want you to think about that. Usually that's not the case. You know, usually like we're kind of in a negative place, and that's when the overeating's happening. So I think it's very important. I think it's dangerous. I rarely see the reason people are overeating is because the food's so good. That's just my experience, you know? And so I say there's usually more to it than that. Usually you're in a state. You're in a particular state when you're overeating. Maybe you're unaware. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're sad. Maybe you're just distracted. Who knows? But usually there's a state that precedes the behavior. And I think it's helpful to recognize what that state is, because then you can come up with an elegant, customized solution, you know? And if we mistakenly label that thing and say, well, I just love the way fruit tastes when I overeat it, you know, and then, well, how do you fix that? You know what I mean? Usually there's more to it. Maybe there's not in your case, you know what I mean? But usually there is. So something to think about. All right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I got to go and, got a coaching call. So yeah, anyone who's on here is not in my world, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the training, and get on my email list. I email you every day. Okay. And it's good, positive stuff. What we're talking today with the email was hacking your brain chemicals. Would it be helpful to notice that? Yeah, of course. Right. So it's always useful, helpful, supportive, encouraging stuff. Right? It's all free. Okay. The podcast is Program Yourself. Then we're on all the platforms. Go listen to it. The more you listen to it, the better your food choices are going to be, the easier weight loss is. All right. Again, all free. And if you like the podcast, leave me a little review. Helps me out. All right. So thank you so much for listening. Great questions, everyone. I really appreciate them. It's fun to come on here and be able to help you all out. So, all right, everyone, have a super day. We'll talk soon. Bye.